Yeah, back once again, Trey, with another fish out of water request reaction. I appreciate y'all being here with me, but you know what we're here for in the music. Let's get to it. Well, not the music. Or Larry Bird, the greatest 3-1 comeback in NBA
If
history.
anybody ever tries to convince you that a great player couldn't win a title in his first 5 years because he was too young or didn't have enough help, tell him that Larry Bird took the second worst team in the league to an NBA title in only 2 years. No excuses. Because with Larry Bird, it wasn't just about basketball. It was about pride, grit, and proving to the world what he and the Celtics stood for. Because that same year, as the Celtics were down 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, Larry Bird pulled off the greatest comeback in NBA history. Larry Bird had an unshakable confidence from the first day he stepped foot in the league.
When I walk in the first day of camp, them guys were on the floor stretching, and here comes the white savior, here comes this, here comes that. I sort of enjoyed it because I knew I was going to battle them all day.
And after all the hype that Larry Bird had coming out of college, he immediately silenced one teammate that was his biggest doubter, Cedric Maxwell, who was the Celtics' leading scorer the year before Larry arrived. And on the very first day of practice, Cedric Maxwell got a glimpse of just how great Larry Bird was going to be in the league.
I was the first guy really to guard Larry. And I remember I was like you. I was the king of the mountain, man. I was averaging about 20 and 10 when Bird got here.
Maxwell has another rebound and another 2 points and a chance for a three-point play. And this crowd loves it. As look at this, 28 points and 15 rebounds.
Yeah. So I'm thinking he's coming to this building. I'm looking at him, but we have the first practice. I'm thinking like, this ought to be a piece of cake. Yeah. Guy don't look fast, don't look good. Yeah. I'm about to do something to him.
I'm thinking, oh, he's slow, he can't get off a shot. He's not that strong. This is gonna be a layup. Bam, knocks down a jump shot. Okay, maybe that was luck. Gets the ball again. Bam, knocks down another jump shot. Now I'm thinking like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm gonna D this guy up. I'm gonna show him what it's like. 20 feet away, bam. 25 feet away, bam. My mind just goes to, damn, this white guy can play.
Boy, I'm telling you what, it changed my opinion about racism in this world. Because I remember he scored the first basket jet on me, but as I proceeded, he kept going further and further and further away. And by the end of the practice, it finished. The first black person I got to, I said, you know what? That fucking white guy can play down there. Then every other person of color would ask me when the Celtics got ready to play, they're like, yo, man, how's this kid Bird? You about to find out. You about to find out.
Damn.
The Celtics were the second worst team in the league before Larry arrived, winning only 29 games. But even as a rookie, Larry Bird led that exact same Celtics team to a 61-21 record. That 32-game turnaround still stands as the greatest single-season turnaround in NBA history. And what's most impressive is he did it with no Robert Parrish, no Kevin McHale, no Dennis Johnson, Bill Walton, Scott Wedman, or Danny Ainge. It was all Larry Bird.
I didn't know that.
Bird comes away with it.
I thought he just inherited that team.
Bird again, and he's doing it all. 45 seconds first half. Here comes the Birdman. He is now 5 of 5. Shot clock, forward to Bird. Bryant couldn't do anything with it. Taken up by Archibald, and look at the hustle. I believe Archibald touched it last. Look at Bird. Holy cow. Boy, I tell you.
What a bad
that epitomized this basketball team.
What a bad
This should have been no surprise to anyone, because at every level, Larry Bird proved the doubters wrong. Because in college, he took a mid-major Indiana State to 33-0 before facing what turned out to be his greatest rival, Magic Johnson, in the NCAA title game. But here's how Magic Johnson recalls meeting Larry Bird the summer before that game.
The summer before, they had the WIT tournament.
Okay.
And they brought all the best college players together to play against the world.
Okay.
And man, I see this guy, blonde hair, I said, all right, let me see if he can play.
Okay.
Man, I'm sitting there watching him shoot Shannon. He must have made 30 in a row all net.
So he was Steph Curry before Steph.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there saying, this dude can play.
Okay.
Then we got in the game. Jack Gibbons was player of the year that year.
Right.
He tore him up, man. And Larry Bird was taking it to him. I said, oh, man. I'm calling back home saying, oh, he for real. He for real. This dude, Larry Bird?
Right.
Oh, he got it. He can play. He's dominating Jack Gibbons. And they said, no way. I said, oh, yeah, he's dominating.
I think our first game was in Kentucky. We got about a 10, 12-point lead. Man, they put us in. Went to 25, 30, just that fast.
Fast break again, 3-on-2. Rip.
Imagine you going into this all-star, I guess, our country, you know, the USA against whatever country. And, well, then again, that's true. There was no highlight tapes of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. So you just walking into the gym, not realizing that you about to play against Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, yo. What are the odds, bro? That's just, you had to be like caught off guard and a deer in headlights of what they probably was doing on that court.
Look at that steal by Larry Bird.
Take us out, the league go back down, put us back in.
That's Bird and Johnson.
The show start again.
When you play with Magic, there's just something about it. You want to make that extra pass. You want to get that rebound and start to break.
We came down a couple times. I go behind my back, no look to him. He no look back to me. And I'm laying it up. I'm saying, oh, man.
Here's that last play. Magic Johnson going in, drops off to Bird. Bird puts it back off, inside to Johnson. Super basketball.
This guy got game.
Little did Magic know that he would meet Larry Bird again, but this time it would be in the national title game.
Here we go, 6, 7 months later.
Right.
We're playing in the NCAA championship game. He's player of the year. Sports Illustrated, all the magazines he on the cover.
Right.
And I said, wow. And they're 33-0.
33-0.
Man, I said, oh.
And they hadn't been ranked since.
That's right.
And they weren't ranked before.
Yes, that's right.
It is Indiana State against Michigan State. I'm Bryant Gumbel, and the fans here are going bananas.
That 1979 NCAA title matchup between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson is still the highest rated basketball game ever played. Unfortunately for Larry Bird, it was one of his worst because Michigan State double-teamed him all night long, and since Larry was largely a one-man show, Indiana State had no answer.
Look at the pressure around him. 2-3 net, and he's short. Bird, way short. Bird hanging, can't score.
It's good coaching.
Larry Bird,
whoever the Michigan State coach was, he studied their tape. He studied their tape.
Look at John. Reloaded the pass. It's all over. Michigan State University, national champions, 1979.
Magic, not only were you a leader on offense, I thought you did a great job on Larry Bird in the zone denying him the ball.
Yes, Coach gave us a good game plan to go against Larry Bird, and all we had to do was go out and do it. That's what we done.
Congratulations, Super Bowl game.
No, it still hurts. And when you win 33 in a row and you walk into the game, you know, you never know what to expect, but I expect to win. We didn't win.
Been there before, Larry. Not on the college level, a little under. High school, we had the best team in our district. We was 45-8 or 45-6 that season. We didn't lose too many games. We was playing against a team that we had previously beat at our home court by 25. We get into the high school championship game and they beat us by 25. It's hurtful. I still vividly remember this. I am 39 years old.
Larry Bird said this was his most painful loss ever. And when he got to the NBA, he took that pain out on the entire league. Not only did he play with a level of toughness that the NBA had never seen before, but Larry Bird's trash-talking stories are that of legend.
Their main man was Tom Chambers, and Chambers was guarding Larry. And so in the jump ball circle, Larry walked through myself and Chambers and then came back and told Chambers, I know you guarding me, and I want you to know something. There's only one man that can guard me, and that's God. Now think about that for a second. Think about the confidence and the arrogance it takes to make that statement. Think about that for a second. One thing you got to give Larry Bird, he never stopped talking trash. Ever.
But is it really trash talking if you're backing it up?
Yes. Still trash though. He just so happened to back it up very well.
They don't have Bird is just toying with Chambers, and now Bird answers immediately. As I say, Chambers might as well not be out there. He's picking
Chambers might as well not be out there.
Outside shot. Larry is obliged very effectively this week, and he's really starting to force his offense. Look at this. My goodness. I don't know if he's guarded Bird before, but I'll tell you, if he hasn't, he's going to remember this night for a while. Old Chambers isn't going to get much sleep tonight. He's going to have to be having Larry Bird nightmares.
Even Larry's own teammates could face his wrath. Not many younger people know this, but Hall of Famer Pete Maravich, who holds nearly every major NCAA scoring record, including highest scoring average at 44.2 points per game, was actually teammates with Larry Bird in Larry's rookie year. However, Larry couldn't care less about Pete's NCAA accolades, because when these two butted heads, Larry Bird got so disrespectful.
Well, my best story, I think, was probably Pete Maravich and Larry Bird. Pete Maravich is passed the ball to Larry. Pete's man goes down and double teams Larry. Larry puts up a tough shot, and timeout's called, and we come to the timeout, and Pete Maravich looks over, and Larry says, Larry, they're double teaming you, man. You can't force up those kind of shots. And Larry looks up and goes, if you were any damn good, they wouldn't be double teaming me. This is one Hall of Fame to another one. I was in shock.
Ouch.
I never heard that one. I even know him and Pistol Pete was teammates, but he wasn't. That's not a lie. They wouldn't be double teaming me if you were good. They wouldn't be. It's true.
Pete Maravich retired at the end of that year, and as a rookie, Larry Bird made the All-Star team.
He made him realize that you're not good no more. He had to bring Pistol Pete on down to reality. You're not the sauce no more. I'm the sauce. That's why they double teaming me. They're not even worried about you no more. It made that man retire.
Here comes the rookie out of Indiana State, who has lived up to his expectations, Larry Bird, and I'm told the other night here in Washington, he put on a clinic. Dantley gave it back, and Kermit Washington, and Bird rebounds, and now it's the East for the fast break. Behind his back to Gervin, and Larry stayed with the rebound.
When you call playing the whole court, get the rebound, take the pass back up the middle, make that pass, and stay right with it when it right in there. To rebounding, besides strength, is quickness. Good lateral movement.
High. They're using the time inside to Moses. He set himself high with the shot. It is short. Overtime.
Larry Bird took over on national TV by draining 2 corner shots to take the lead, igniting his reputation as one of the most clutch players in NBA history.
Hot Rod Hundley now has joined us over here at the announce table, and Larry Bird.
Why would you back off for Larry Bird? This was bad defense.
Table is not yet clear.
Bad
This is
defense.
a three-pointer.
It's bad defense. Put your hands up at least. Put your hands up.
And after that, he pulled off the play of the game in one of the greatest passes of his career.
42-136, three-point try by Sigma is off, and Bird comes out on the move, dishes to Malone, Malone comes up, stayed with it, Sigma with a hand, tapped it back to Gervin, I don't believe he saw George Gervin.
That year, Larry Bird finished 4th in MVP voting, won Rookie of the Year, and pissed off his arch nemesis Magic Johnson, which ended up being the greatest individual rivalry in sports history.
We ended up in the 2 most famous, franchises, right? The Celtics and the Lakers. And then his personality was Boston. My personality was Hollywood.
Right.
So I mean, They couldn't have scripted this any better.
No. He was rookie of the year. I think you got like 1 or 2 votes.
That's all.
That's all you. I
That's
think
all.
I think it was like 32, 33 to like 1 or 2.
No, even more than that. It was 60 something to like 2. I hate to say that too. I gotta say that on TV. And so I was pissed, man. I was mad.
You like, hold on.
Became the first rookie in NBA history to be named Finals MVP.
Yeah.
I was only the 3rd dude ever in NBA history to go from the college championship to the NBA Finals championship.
Right, 63.
So I get like
3.
2 votes. And they were 2 LA dudes. You know, I'm like, okay, he's not that much better than me.
Right.
Not 63 to 2.
Right.
But okay, I took it. And I'm glad that we came in together because I had somebody to measure myself to.
Right.
And say, hey, okay, he's great. I can't let him get too far ahead of me. I got to work hard because I want to stay in pace with everybody.
How would you?
But what if I told you that there was a rivalry in the 80s that was even bigger than Celtics versus Lakers and even more intense than Celtics versus Pistons? I bet you wouldn't believe me. But for 3 years in a row, the Eastern Conference Finals was a dogfight between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Long before Celtics Lakers, it was Celtics Sixers.
One of the most intense rivalries ever as you see Mark Ivoroni and Larry Bird go at it in this game. Larry asked if he's going to be thrown out, and he decided he was going to get his licks in before he left.
I think in terms of two clubs in professional sports and professional team sports really wanting one another and going after one another's throats, this is definitely the ultimate.
Here's Dr. J trying to hold Bird. Bird retaliates, and there is
and look at
Jay hitting Bird as he's being held from behind by Barkley and Moses Malone.
There's no greater time in basketball that I've ever had other than going out and beating the 76ers.
And in 1981, which was only Larry Bird's 2nd year in the league, the Celtics and the 76ers had a battle for the ages in the Eastern Conference Finals in what many people have called the greatest playoff series of all time.
It was the greatest series I've ever played in. And in my opinion, maybe the greatest series leading up to a championship that 2 teams ever had to play.
Larry Bird and the Celtics were facing the MVP of the league, Dr. J, and the Philadelphia 76ers, the team with the best record in the league. And to make matters worse, Boston had not won a single game in Philadelphia in over 3 years because the 76ers were stacked with a team full of Hall of Famers.
Well, start out with the Hall of Famers they had over there. Start out with Dr. J, Bobby Jones. Maurice Cheeks was the starting guard, became a Hall of Famer. Caldwell Jones, the Boston Strangler, Andrew Toney, Daryl Dawkins. Daryl Dawkins was like Shaq. You know, just strong and big, and they were coached well by Billy Cunningham. That's why they were so tough.
Just 1 year earlier, Larry Bird and the Celtics lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to this same 76ers team, sparking a rivalry that would have them battling for Eastern Conference supremacy for the next 6 years.
So in 81, we win the first game up in Boston. Then you guys come back and win game 2.
Irving putting the moves on McHale.
And we play a really tight game down there in Philly, and we lose.
Philadelphia has been magnificent,
and that game is over.
We lose game 4, and I'm like, ooh, this isn't good.
6 seconds to go. Boston doesn't call time. Archibald intercepted by Bobby Jones, and the game is over.
It's a tight one-possession game, and Bobby Jones does what he does, makes a great defensive play. That allowed you guys to win game 4 and go up 3-1.
The dreaded 3-1 deficit. In the history of the entire NBA, teams that go up 3-1 in the best-of-7 series are 258-13. That's a winning percentage of 95.2%. So the chances of Larry Bird and the Celtics coming back to win this series was at 4.8%. And for teams that go down 3-1 and win the championship, their chances drop down to 1.5%. So at this point, to say that Larry Bird was an underdog was an understatement.
I wasn't the type of guy to take stuff for granted. 3-1, I mean, it felt good, but it was by no means a foregone conclusion.
A desperate situation for the Celtics. Game number 5 of this Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics must win 3 straight.
In Game 5, the Celtics were losing by 10 points with only 6 minutes left in the game. And with the season on the line, Larry Bird took matters into his own hands.
Larry going to work offensively. One-handed baseline.
One-handed baseline.
Play by
And McHale, they're going with their starters as Larry Bird on a turnaround hits the jump shot. Andrew Toney's shot, no good. Bird the rebound. He's taking matters into his own hands, Kevin. McHale, though, with the offensive rebound. He misses. Bird, he's got it. Pointed out Caldwell Jones.
Offensive rebound. Defensive rebound.
He cannot be denied. Larry Bird brings the Celtics to win 1 point.
This clutch bucket was the last field goal of the game. A defensive stop and a couple of free throws later, Boston won this game by only 2 points.
All right, here it is. 1 second. Boston up by 2. Trying to go to Philly for game 6. Intercepted. It's over. The Boston Celtics, who were down by 6 points with 1:28 to go. But Bird came back in the final crucial moments and did it when he had to do it.
And going in Boston, losing the next game, you had one to play with. But, coming into Philly, it's like, man, you have to feel good coming home.
Coming down to your place, I remember this is it. I mean, game 6, we're going back to Philly.
Oh, it doesn't take long to get caught in this rivalry. I think it's one of the best rivalries in sports. You go out there and you compete, and you got to play so well to win it. It demands a lot out of you. And when the series is over, I think both teams can look back and say, hey, we gave it our best shot.
They know that they haven't won in 10 tries here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and that's why they want to go back to Boston, winning this afternoon.
We got into a dogfight. Back and forth.
Back and forth, exactly.
Back and forth.
The Celtics trying to break a jinx here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. They need to do it to force game 7.
By the second half of game 6, the Celtics were losing by as much as 17 points. But more Larry Bird heroics turned this game into one of the greatest playoff games in NBA history. Because Boston stormed back and were willing to fight anyone that stepped in their way, even if you were just a fan in the crowd.
Harris with a turnaround in the lane. No good. Maxwell and Dawkins going at it, and now Maxwell goes into a crowd and goes after a fan. Maxwell goes after a fan, and there's a problem in the stands here, and Bill Fish is over there. Someone said something to Maxwell, and he went in with a vengeance.
I got knocked into the crowd, and when I got knocked into the crowd, some guy was saying something to me like, get back in the damn game. So I jumped over the photographer, and then it registered in my mind what he had said. As soon as he said that, I re-jumped back over and went into the stands with a flying forearm. At that time, it galvanized all our players together. It could have been all these people against us, and we were going to go down together. And at that particular point, the great Dave Zinkoff, who was the public address announcer for Philadelphia, comes on when we're down by 17 and says to the crowd, tickets go on sale for the championship game right after this. Oh my God. Everybody looked at each other and went, are you kidding me? This guy already said that. And then it was on like popcorn then. We were down 17, almost before half. By the time we had our foot square in their behind after they were doing the celebration, we were down by only 5 points.
Tiny tries to drive. Bird, rebound, basket good, and a foul. Like a McHale, Bird, Maxwell, ML Carr, and Archibald. Looping shot by Larry Bird. 23 points for Larry Bird, and the Celtics lead 84-83.
As Larry Bird leads the comeback with 25 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists, he once again hits the last clutch bucket of the game.
Bird out to Tiny with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Bobby Jones is on him on a defensive switch. Hollins on Bird. Larry Bird shot. Drops for him. Look at that shot.
This shot put the Celtics up by 3 points. One defensive stop and a pair of free throws later helps Boston finally win a game in Philadelphia. Something they hadn't done in nearly 3 years.
Dawkins and Caldwell Jones, and that'll do it. The game is over. Boston has won. Only 3 teams have come back from a 3-1 deficit.
This is where I'm pretty sure it was morally traumatizing for the 76ers after whipping on a team for 3 years straight and they never got a home win off you. And then Larry Bird come back from a 17-point deficit. Yeah. That's when the panic button and the nerves and the sweaty palms start to kick in for the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's when the confidence is all the way up for the Boston Celtics.
To force a seventh and win a seventh game, and the first time in 12 games the Boston Celtics have defeated the Philadelphia 76ers.
And after that game, Kevin McHale called what happened next his most favorite moment of his entire career.
Kevin McHale, what is your favorite NBA moment?
Ooh. I would say 81, Game 6. We were in Philly, and we were down 3-1, and we won Game 5 in Boston.
Really was
3-2, and we beat them on a last-second play where Tony's driving in, and we get a block, got my hand on the ball, and we win the game, and go back to Boston, and there's people like there's the like I didn't realize that, because I'm new to Boston. It's my first year being out there. I come from northern Minnesota, small mining town, played at the University of Minnesota. I didn't realize that Boston and Philadelphia hated each other sports-wise. I mean, hated each other. So we get back that night, and there's people. There's a crowd. I mean, there's people at the airport. And this is game. We haven't won anything. We still have Game 7 to go. And they were the whole city was like electric. And then Game 7 in the arena. When I walked in, I got chills because the people were all standing up cheering. 18 minutes before the game, we went out to warm up. There wasn't an empty seat, and they stood the whole game and cheered and yelled and screamed. No dancing girls, no nothing, and Oregon going, and it was the most unbelievable environment you've ever seen. The building shook.
I was at that game. I was at all those games, and Game 7. To this day, is the best basketball game I've ever been to. That was the only game I've been to, I've written about this, where the refs were just like, guys, you settle this. Guys are on the floor.
I ain't about to be
every
a
play.
ref.
There's 3 guys getting knocked down. It was like a rugby match. And I've just never seen a game like that. I don't think that game would happen again. There would have been about 20 flagrant fouls.
The Philadelphia 76ers, they have to be wondering about the fact
Well,
that
refs
they
want to be
have the
involved in
Celtics
that
put
shit.
away.
I ain't gonna be the
And all
ref.
the Celtics wanted to do is win one at a time. Red Auerbach told me before the game, Kevin, it's not so much saying you got to win 3 games, but to tell your team they have to beat us one more time.
That was the championship game. Whoever won that series between Philly and Boston, and Philly being up 3-1, and you getting them back to Boston for Game 7, whoever won that particular night, we knew that either one of those teams, Philly or Boston, could beat Houston. So that was the championship game that particular night.
Chris Ford.
Man, they had no belief in Houston. They had no belief in Houston, guys.
Boston has done to Philadelphia, dominate the offensive board. Parrish doing to Dawkins what he did to him, but misses. But Larry Bird, another offensive rebound. And the next time, Tiny to Ford, Larry Bird, three-point play.
If anything could ignite a crowd and ignite a team, a three-point play by their best player is the safest way to do it.
And just like the previous 4 games, Game 7 went down to the wire. And with the tie game with 1 minute left on the clock, Larry Bird does what Larry Bird did the entire series in the clutch.
Irving setting up for something. Fakes. Low into Dawkins. Double team. Dawkins goes in. Misses. Here comes Bird out of the pack.
Bird's coming to the left. The stop and pop off the glass. It's gone. Boston leads 91-89. 1 second left. And the pass hits the top of the backboard. And it's over. They came from 3 or 1 down. And they have won the series. It's all over. It's all over. This place is a madhouse.
This game-winning jump shot helped Larry Bird versus a team with 3 Hall of Famers on their roster pull off the greatest 3-1 comeback of all time, because the 1981 Eastern Conference Finals remains the only series in NBA history in which 5 games were decided by 2 points or less. The Celtics won Game 5 by 2 points, Game 6 by 2 points, and Game 7 by 1 point. Each game literally went down to the last second. Now that is the definition of clutch.
Because we did win a lot of 1-2 point games. It just seemed like every time you look up the clock, we had a 1 point lead and there's 1 second on the clock and they had the ball. It was them type of games where all the emotion, all the adrenaline, and everybody was just flowing and everything was just going to perfection at the end of the game. That was probably the best games I ever played in my life. It was a 7-game series and every one of them was just full of excitement.
That's crazy that Larry Bird, McHale, Maxwell. They don't even say their greatest moments is the ones against the Lakers. Nah. My favorite and most exciting moments was beating the Philadelphia 76ers. That's how much of a rivalry they had with them. All these matchups with the Lakers and stories that they had. That's crazy. That's the one that they go back to. Those three Hall of Famers go back to that one. They don't even go back to the Lakers. That's the one that they love the most. That is wild. Greatest 3-1 comeback in NBA history. I put LeBron versus the Warriors because 3-1 against the Warriors at that time, I thought it was nail in the coffin. But yeah, this is incredible. To say he didn't have the other Celtics team where he had Parrish and Norman and all the rest of the real Celtics team that I'm familiar with. I didn't know he went to a Celtics team that was that terrible and he was the only rookie, and him and Maxwell and McHale was pretty much the team to do what they did against. They broke the curse. They couldn't get a win for 3 years. And once they got that win, it was takeoff at